Space Cadets Away Missions is a cooperative board game that tips its hat to the golden age of science fiction. Players take on the role of human rocketeers, each of which has its own special abilities and strengths. They must work together to complete the goals of the chosen scenario. The game is played in turns, with the Rocketeers first, in the order chosen by the players. Then, the Aliens act, following specific rules for movement and combat. This continues until a scenario goal is completed, or one of the Rocketeers is killed, which means all players lose. In the Rocketeers' turn, players choose the order in which each of them will act. The first thing a Rocketeer does is to scan the nearest face-down map tile. Flip the tile over and reveal any tokens that were there. Alien tokens indicate the presence of enemies, and some have a special event. Discovery tokens represent alien items that can be picked up and used. Each Rocketeer has 3 action points, some of which can only be used for specific actions. There are also free actions, which a Rocketeer may do at any time on their turn, at no cost in action points. And, by spending 1 precious oxygen cube, the Rocketeer may push themselves to the limit and gain 1 additional action for that turn. To perform a combat action, the Rocketeer must target an alien that is within the range of the weapon, and also within line of sight. A number of dice are rolled based on the weapon being fired and the range, and each result of a 1, 2, or a 3 is a success. The first success scores a hit on the alien, most of which only have 1 hit point and are eliminated. Any other successes allow the player to trigger 1 of 3 different overkill options. For example, the Doctor fires his ray gun at a Sentinel in the same tile. The ray gun gets 5 dice at this range, and he rolls 2 successes. The first scores 1 hit on the alien, and the second gives him 1 overkill, which he may spend on his own Sawbones ability to heal 1 hit point. Or he may activate the hit and run option of the ray gun to move 1 tile. Or he may spend it on the Sentinel's stagger option to reduce the Sentinel's attack. Various non-combat actions are also available to a player. 1 action point can be used to move to an adjacent face-up tile across an open edge or through an open hatch. Closed hatches may be opened by spending 1 action point. You may also perform an IQ action, which can be either to try and heal a wound, analyze a special discovery item, or to subdue thralls or brains in a jar. On the alien's turn, they act in order of sentience, with each figure from one group acting before the next. First, the alien moves toward the nearest Rocketeer, with the goal of reaching a tile from which it can attack. If multiple players are equidistant, the alien moves towards the Rocketeer with the highest numbered order tile, i.e. the Rocketeer who acted later in the turn. Leaders and saucermen use their psychic powers to open and close hatches instantaneously, effectively allowing them to move through them for free. After moving, the alien attacks the closest Rocketeer, rolling a number of dice as listed on its reference card. The first success causes 1 damage, and any others trigger the overkill effect of the attacking alien. Some aliens have a special attack. The brain in a jar uses its mind control to attack all Rocketeers within range 2, and multiple bugs on the same tile move and attack like a swarm. In this example, it's the Professor's turn. He begins by scanning one of the nearest face-down locations. The tiles are flipped over, and the Discovery token shows that there is a heat ray. The Alien token indicates that 2 saucermen and 1 leader are placed. The Professor takes his first action, using 1 of his 2 standard APs to perform an attack. He fires his ray gun at the bug in his own tile. The ray gun rolls 5 dice at range 0, and he gets 3 successes. The first success inflicts a hit on the bug, which kills it, and the remaining 2 count as overkills. The Professor spends his first overkill on his own personal overkill option, which allows him to open or lock a hatch anywhere on the board. He opens the one next to him. He then spends the second overkill on the overkill option of the ray gun, allowing him to move 1 tile. As a free action, he then uses up 1 charge from the gravitational wave generator, which he acquired earlier, and this allows him to move the heat ray into his own tile, where he immediately picks it up. With the heat ray, the Professor destroys the nearby hatch, and now that he has line of sight, he spends his second AP to fire his atomic rifle at the brain in a jar. The rifle gets 5 dice at range 1, and he gets 3 successes. The first of these scores a hit on the brain, and the other 2 are overkills. The brain has 2 hit points, so it is not killed. The professor spends the first of these overkills on the brain's overkill option, which stuns all nearby aliens. He spends the second overkill on the atomic rifle's overkill option, and chooses to move the damaged brain into his own tile. Finally, he spends his third AP, which is for non-combat actions only, and tries to subdue the brain in a jar. This is an IQ action, so he rolls 5 dice for his 5 IQ. He gets 2 successes. The first successfully subdues the brain, and the second one can be used to dominate brain, giving the professor an extra card, giving him a permanent +1 to IQ.